Behind me, Devonport, Tasmania, and we're on board the Spirit of Tasmania as she comes in, having been piloted skillfully across the Bass Straits by Captain Fleming. Hello everybody, I'm Phil Liggett along with Phil Anderson, and we're now on the rendezvous round number 3 in the Summer of Cycling series, and this without doubt the most important of all 3 series because it is the Olympic selection race, the Jayco 6-day Tour of Tasmania. 800 kilometres battling out on this island, bringing together Germany and indeed all of Australia's top bike riders. A very important occasion for them, Phil.
It certainly is, Phil. The course is going to be very enduring, Tasmania being a very hilly state. We're starting in the north-central coast. We're going over to the east coast, down the eastern seaboard, and finishing in Hobart with Mount Wellington. That's going to be very tough, the final day there, and there's actually going to be a cycling festival at the finish there.
Now, you started the modern era by doing 78, you won the Commonwealth Games gold medal, but you never got a shot at the Olympic Games, did you?
No, certainly an event I missed out on, but I think it's a bit late for me to have a run at Atlanta, but who knows, maybe later.
Well, watching this race with a greater interest than anybody is the national Australian coach, Jayco Salzwiedel, and earlier I talked to him.
You know, the Olympic road race, it's a one-day race. There are different riders, different type of riders required. So a good stage race rider is not automatically a good rider for the Olympic Games. But at this stage of the year, we are looking more for basic conditioning, who is in a good shape, who has made his homework, who has made the long kilometers. And we want to find that out here at the Jayco Tour of Tasmania.
Here in Tassie, I'm just hoping to get some good stage results, do what I have to do to get selected for the Games, and hopefully through this race get some fitness for the upcoming season in Europe.
Yeah, time trial, I'll be setting myself for that, and a couple of stages. I'd have to say that Paddy will probably ride away from us up the climb, but you know, anything can happen in a race like this, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think Paddy's been showing some pretty good form. He's been very consistent throughout the Criteriums, throughout the Mount Buller Classic. Obviously, we've got guys like Henk, who wasn't here before, put in there for the time trial and the mountain stages and the overall classification. I think basically everyone's here, we're all motivated, ready to go, and I think we're in for an exciting tour of Tassie.
Well, there's just a few of the names who hope to do well over the next 6 days. We're now going to have a look at what happens on day 1. It's a stage of 104 kilometres. The riders leaving Devonport here by car and then racing back from Wynyard. Phil, you know the roads pretty well. It's a tough route to start with.
Yes, it's rough, but not as tough as some of the other days. It's going to be rolling. We're actually going to be following the coast. It'll be a nice day for a picnic, but these boys, there'll be no picnic out there. It's going to be 104 kilometres, finishing here right in front of the harbour down here at Devonport.
Now, the race over 6 days is based on time. The man with the shortest time, by the time we get down to Hobart, will be the winner and may well have booked himself a place to Atlanta. Let's go to the action. 11 teams of 6 riders each, so the 66 riders now expecting to ride for 800 plus kilometres right down to Hobart. A very tough start here from Wynyard because the riders, once they're deneutralised, will go straight into the hills, Phil, and the wind are blowing up there.
It certainly is, Phil. It's going to be very tough in the beginning here. I don't know if everybody's expecting what they're about to face because the hardest roads of the day are going to be in the first 20 kilometres.
Well, straight away, the AAS are trying to get in on the action here and start things. This is Dean Rogers beginning to put in an attack, former junior world champion. He's got himself a gap straight away. Now we're on to the climbs, Phil, and the bunch here are massing at the front. One has to refer immediately to the AIS riders are all there.
Yeah, maybe they gave a bit of a warm-up before the start because, you know, normally riders like to ride into a stage like this, warm up a little bit in the first kilometres, but who was that? Matt White, who's getting right away right now.
Matt White has gone clear. Stephen Hodges on the left of our picture at the front. Jay Sweet is up here too, and this looks as though Robin McEwen is having a dig on the right. So the attacks are already beginning.
They certainly are, and AIS are really dominant on the front right now. It's Jay Sweet riding away. But it's Hodgie who's quick to react.
Stephen Hodge with his teammates right behind him. You know, you've got to be very vigilant even on the very first day because once you get a move underway, it can gain time. The riders with experience will be aware of this. Now, there is a little group still up the road and it looks as though they're querying whether to chase or not. This is the group. Henk Vogel's on the front. Lars Mikkelsen in the white hat from Denmark. Damien Foster tagged onto the back there. And the Herald Sun rider in the move as well. Matt White, the man that started it, in the centre of these 5.
Yes, today's course started in Wynyard. We're going out, doing a little lap here, and now we're on the run back into Windward before we head in a easterly direction along the northern coast.
And the group is swelling, and they're willing to work, and that's significant. Now, what we should also point out here, Phil, is a lot of teams are being recognised in this breakaway. And the one team that's missing, to me, I haven't seen a single rider from the Bicycle Superstore German team.
No, hopefully they're going to be getting up there, because this is what the sponsors are looking for, to have everybody up in their front group. Now, here we're coming back through Wynyard and coming round now, and I believe there was a sprint in that town.
Well, they've gone through with a little bit of a lead. And the man that's missed the move at the moment in yellow there, Patrick Jonker, after his great win in the Motorola Mount Buller Cup, everybody tipping Pat as the pre-race favourite. He is in this big bunch, and you know, Phil, they're really beginning to coast right now, and that big breakaway, and here it is, there's 17 riders here, and they're going away. This is a big move.
It certainly is, and if I was in Jonker's shoes now, I'd be up there riding and trying to rally up a few other teams, maybe the German team that haven't not in there. Now look here.
It's a puncture to Vogels. He was in the lead group. His teammate Damien Foster's waited with him. But there's hardly a great deal of urgency here. And the gap is opening up. The lead is around about 6 minutes over the field. But Vogels, and this is his face, he's on the move again here. And he's having to wait for the main field. Now that is a real slice of bad luck. There's the field led by Jason Phillips. So we now have 15 riders up front.
And here they are riding along the coast, thinking about the what's going to happen in the final kilometres, in the closing kilometres now.
Western Australia All Seasons, represented by Daniel Trini from Perth. And this is the main field. Neil Stevens looking over his shoulder there for his team car. A little bit of advice, I think. Stevens, number 1, has missed the breakaway, so to his teammate Patrick Jonker. This is the sprint for the finish, and the only Kiwi in the breakaway, Glenn Mitchell, has read the move. He's gone clear for the downhill finish, and he's got the speed. He's being chased by Tristan Preem and Duncan Smith. They're not going to catch him. Mitchell will get it. What a great win for New Zealand.
Well, actually, early on before the stage started, we came and checked out the stage finish, and in the last K, you can't see the finish line until probably about 200-300 metres to go. So as soon as I saw where I was, I realised we're not going to wind up in time for the sprint, so I jumped them and came around the corner, and it's downhill to the finish, and just had the momentum and a bit of tailwind there to stay out in front.
So bigger man.
So, first blood to Sports Cover Kiwi, Glenn Mitchell finishing in front of the White Pages VIS riders, Duncan Smith and Tristan Preem. They were 11 minutes and 53 seconds ahead of the field. Overall, Mitchell leads Smith, Preem, Lars Mikkelsen, Chris Denham and Damien MacDonald.
Phil, today's winning move came very close to the start. It was very fast, but the splits came only after 12 kilometres. We see Matt White here going off the front.
What surprised me, Phil, is that riders of the calibre of Jonker and Neil Stevens must have realised the pressure was on right at the start, because after 20 minutes, 17 riders in the lead and 2 principal players missed the move.
Yeah, it's really a little disappointing, because their race is really over for general classification.
Well, it was a great success, and the man who started it all was, of course, Matt White.
The first day is always really crucial, because everyone's fresh and everyone's going into it really motivated. So I got caught a couple of times by different riders, but we kept going. And finally at the finish, we got across and it split on the freeway. And then that 17 riders just drove all the way. And yeah, it was a great move. And it looks like we pulled out 12 minutes, so it's probably the tour over already.
And the unluckiest man in the breakaway, Henk Vogels, who punctured. Damien Foster waited for him and they fell back to the field. We'll take a break.